In this video, I'll show you how we can take our completed parts and assemblies and turn them into engineering drawings that can be used to give details for manufacturing your creations. Start by opening the part or assembly of which you will make the drawing. For my example, I'm using this piston head. Now, there's two ways I can turn this into a drawing. One way is to create a new file. I'll go up to File, select New, go over to the Drawing tab. You want to make sure this option is set to reference existing part, then select the relevant drawing size. Let's do this on A3. As I've mentioned before, all files on X use the .prt file extension, so to distinguish from your model file, the preset should be to add this _DWG to the file name. Check the save location is correct and then click OK. The software immediately allows you to populate the title block, but for now we're just going to close that. We want to click on the View Creation wizard. Now we'll leave this here a sec, and I'll go back to the original model file, just to show you the second way of starting a drawing. So with the model file open, you can click over here on Application, and then select Drafting. You'll get to select the size, again we'll go for A3, and then it will open Drafting and the Populate Title Block option again. Now when we close the option box, it automatically opens the View Creation wizard, and we're at the same point we were previously. The difference here is that your drafting will be saved with the model in the same file, and to go between the two you just change your selection on the Applications tab. Generally, most people like to create separate files for the drawings, especially if the file is being shared with customers or other people with less knowledge of NX. But if you're just creating the drawing for you to be able to print off, there's no reason why you can't do it in the same file. Anyway, let's go back to our standalone drawing file. So we've opened the View Creation wizard, and what this allows us to do is to select what views we want to see of the part and how we want to see them. So I'm going to start by going down to the Orientation tab. I want my initial orientation to be the front of the part. Now on the next tab I can select the views I want to see. We'll add top, right and isometric. Now you see when I add these views the drawing automatically scales down to fit them, and this is because on the Options tab my view boundary is set to automatic. This is good, I don't want to change that. So what I do want to change is the styles. This preview style is literally just that, it's changing how you see the views before confirming them, but it's not actually changing the final view in the drawing. Whenever you add the views they're going to be added as wireframe, so to make it easier for us, let's select wireframe for the preview. From this view you can see the lines are quite cluttered and there's a lot going on. So what I do want to do is change this from invisible hidden lines to this dashed line and make it a little thinner to be more distinct from the exterior lines. Now if I hit OK, the views are added with the dashed hidden lines. Now if we want to change any of these view styles, you can edit them just by double clicking the view boundary. For this isometric view, I'm going to change the view style to shaded. And I'm going to go into hidden lines and make these lines invisible again, and hit OK. If I delete all my views, I'll show you that another way to achieve this is to use the base view. I'll select the model view to use as the front, change the scale back to 1:2, and then if I click here, it will place the view where I want. Now as soon as I've clicked, it's gone into the projected view option, which can also be found up here on the ribbon. Now you see, as I move the cursor, it shows the view projected from that initial front view. I can project a view to the right and another up above. Then click close, and to get that isometric view, I'll just go back into base view, select isometric, go back to 1:2 scale and place it in line with the others. Now we can edit the settings of each view just as we did before. Now I've got my views all laid out as I want, I can begin to add detail on the part. Firstly, up on the ribbon next to base view, you have multiple options for dissecting and sectioning parts. I'm going to select section view, define the vector as the y-axis, and take a section through the center point of this hole. Now you see a cross section of that part, and I'll go into settings to hide the hidden lines so it's more apparent what we're looking at. Another thing we can do is to add dimensions and annotations to the view. The easiest way is to use Rapid Dimension here. Now we can select features and add the relevant dimensions in. This works largely the same as with sketching, the only difference here being that these dimensions are purely for reference. You can't edit these dimensions or change the part from the drawing application. What you can do though is edit the annotation. Double-clicking on a measurement brings up this dialog box, where you can change the type of dimension, you can add a tolerance, change how the text is displayed with reference to the dimension line, here we can change the number of decimal places a measurement is given to, although that's not relevant for this one, and you can add text anywhere about the measurement. By clicking on the sheet, you can also change whereabouts the measurement is displayed. What you can also do is add notes. This can be useful for specifying certain manufacturing instructions, maybe drawing attention to a change in the design, or just relaying more information to whomever is viewing the drawing. Opening the extra options on the Note dialog box, you can select a leader, so that the text points to a specific feature of the part. In the text input dialog, you can also add symbols such as countersunk, tolerances, depth, and so on. Now, how you annotate your parts is largely up to you. You now have all the tools you need to be able to do it on NX. All you need to remember is that each dimension should be given only once, either explicitly or inferred from other dimensions.